and the Gita is just a part of the Mahabharata. It was a historic event that happened, but not everything that actually is described in the Mahabharata may have happened truly. He said that actually Ved Vyas, what he wanted to do in order, because Kali Yuga was coming as we know, and in order to preserve the teachings of Sanatana Dharma, the teachings of truth, he wrote this wonderful story of the Mahabharata that throughout history it will not be lost. The teachings will not be lost, especially for those who could dive a little deeper and go beyond the surface. I think we know the Mahabharata and the Ramayana have kept in some ways Indian spirituality alive for all millennia really. And the Mahabharata, what Ved Vyasa did, he interwove a lot of allegory in an actual story that happened. Yogananda ji explained that most of all the principal characters of the Mahabharata, of course the Pandavas, some of the main Kauravas and all, they really did exist. But many others did not actually exist in person. That Ved Vyas used them in order to teach us spiritual truths. Because each one of the Pandavas and the Kauravas actually correlate with a psychological quality that we have within all of them. And this story really of the Mahabharata, back when King Shantanu and Ganga get married and they have Bhishma in the process at some point in the story, it all really explains how we as a soul have come into this world, and then at the end of the Mahabharata explains how we can get liberated from this world. And of course, the battle of Kurukshetra being that actual battle that it did happen, but also that is happening within all of us at all times. Basically, this story is a story of light versus darkness within all of us. And of course, Naveen will later explain some of these characters. What do they represent? And some of them are here. I saw all of you taking pictures already. You can also take the picture later. But he will give us some of these, what are they and how can we tell that actually these characters are within ourselves. But I wanted just to talk about how did we get here. Of course, the Bhagavad Gita is the most important scripture and is a talk that Krishna had with Arjuna right before the big battle of Kurukshetra, where he explains the essence of yoga, everything to Arjuna. And Master said, Yogananda said that Arjuna really represents the devotee. He calls him the devotee everyone. It's basically the divine talking to us and giving us counsel in this battle of life. There is a few signs at the very beginning of the Gita that tell us how this is actually an allegory and not based completely in facts. I say completely because of course many things were factual as well. Kurukshetra is not that far away from Chandigarh. We can actually go visit some of those pilgrimage spots. But at the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, if you know, it starts with Sanjaya posing a question to the king Dhritarashtra. He said, in the battle of Kurukshetra, where my sons, which are 100 of them, and the Pandavas are fighting, what happened? He actually asked the question in the past. If you are there in person, you will ask what is happening now in the battle. But he actually asked the question in the past. And Yogananda ji explained this is a very clear sign of the allegory. And I will just go to these two characters that Master explained that, Yogananda ji, that Dhritarashtra represents that aspect of ourselves which is blind. He called him the blind mind. And we know that Dhritarashtra was actually physically blind. So it's that aspect of our mind who cannot reason, who cannot comprehend, who just reflects reality but doesn't see what is in front of it. And Sanjaya represents introspection, the power of introspection, that in this battle of life, our mind asks our introspection, what happened today? Who won today, or what happened, how was the battle in the battlefield of Kurukshetra today? And Shamini, I think, will go a little more into that later on. But also something that happens at the very beginning of the Gita that tells us about the allegory is that if you remember, at the start, Krishna and Arjuna are talking, and Arjuna is asking a few things, and then he says, Krishna, take me where? What does he say? Do you know? Take me to the center of the battlefield. I know many of you were raised with the Mahabharata series, like those old series, and I've seen a little bit of it. And I remember in that particular scene that he drives a chariot, and one of the Kauravas is like this, ready to. But I think Bhishma tells me, no. It wasn't Hindi, so I didn't quite understand. I just saw the actions. But it tells you that if it was an actual war, and the main general is asked to be in the middle, obviously the enemy will take advantage of that. Again, this is a way of saying, what does this represent? Yogananda said, of course, Krishna represents Bhagavan, represents God himself. That's why when Duryodhana, which is the main of the Kauravas, and Arjuna went to Krishna to ask for help, if you remember before the battle, Krishna offered either he could give himself or he could give his entire army. And he asked Arjuna, what do you want? And of course Arjuna chose Krishna, even though Krishna will not fight at all, he will just drive the chariot. And Duryodhana was so happy because he had all the elephants, all the warriors, everything of Krishna was such a huge army. But what does this mean? At some point the devotee is asked, okay, do you want my Bhagavan, like God has created all this Maya, it's not away from him. He's asking us, do you want all my soldiers, my army, and you can get busy in this war with all your desires, with all your attachments, with all your worldly things? Or you want me to ride your chariot, to be your charioteer? You want me to be your guide? And at the time that the devotee makes that decision, no, I want this. Even though we don't succeed every day at that. Sometimes we get swayed by the Kauravas, sometimes we get swayed by the Pandavas. But as long as we have made a strong commitment that, no, I want God to be my guide, to a great extent the battle is already won. That's why even Dronacharya, Bhishma, all they knew that because Krishna was there, they had no chance. Still they fought, because the ego and all our desires still fight. But in the end, they have no chance. And Krishna and Arjuna have this chariot, which is with the 5 horses, and that represents the 5 senses, that Arjuna had given complete control to Krishna of his entire being, his senses, everything. So he's driven at the middle of the battlefield. And you remember what happens there? He looks at his uncles and his cousins and his Bhishma, the grandsire, and everyone, and then he looks at his friends, the Pandavas, much smaller army. It is a much smaller army because virtues are very few, but the ways to err are limitless. But that's why every spiritual path, they will teach you to love, to be in joy, all these things, because they are universal truths. You don't need to expand, you don't need to invent new truths. You cannot. But the ways to get into Maya, I think we all know there are too many. Just go to Elante Mall and you'll see many there, right there, waiting for you. But so he sees all this army arranged, about to, and he gets disheartened. Remember, he said, I don't want to fight Krishna. And he said that he undoes his bow. Yogananda explained that undoing of the bow, the stringing of the bow, means that Arjuna bent his spine. We told you at the beginning that we had to keep a straight spine for meditation because that's how we can let the energy go up the spine. When you bend your spine, you block yourself, you let your energy go down. And it's very understandable that Arjuna, he gave a whole lot of reasons of why he didn't want to fight, and a lot of the Gita is, all of the Gita is Krishna convincing him that he has to fight. But Yogananda said that is the disciple when he goes to his inner center. When we go to the inner center of meditation especially, only then in that inner calmness, when we are at our center, we can see what are we up against. That's why some people don't like to learn to meditate, because they say, I try to meditate, but I saw that I have a lot of negative thoughts, or I saw I have anger, or whatever it may be. A true devotee will say, wow, I have anger, I have finally discovered that I have this, So I can work, I can improve. You will not say, oh no, I have anger. We all have many things. When they come to the front, we should celebrate and say, yes, okay, this is there, I can work with it now and I can try to get rid of it as well. So when we are in calmness, we start to perceive that we have a lot of negative things as well as a lot of positive things. But why didn't Arjuna want to fight? It's because those negative things, I think if all of us were to say, anger, anybody wants to have anger here?
No.
You want to be angry?
No.
No, okay. Anybody wants to be jealous?
No.
Anybody wants to be, violent? Nobody wants to. So those things is very easy for us to say, I don't want that. But we all have something or the other, some little habit. A bad habit perhaps to listen to restless music. I like to listen to bad music even though I know it's not good for me, but I like it. It makes me who I am. That's a Kaurava, but we are not ready to fight that yet. We may have a tendency towards negativity, but we feel it's realism. It's not negativity, it's realism. Again, it has to become subtle. It's never like, oh, this is bad. It becomes very subtle. And that's why they are cousins, they are uncles, because they are very much close to us. But in the end, they are not our reality. Because we know that as long as these things are there, at the beginning of the Mahabharata, not at the beginning, but when the Pandavas were growing up with the Kauravas, the Pandavas always tried to share the kingdom with the Kauravas, but the Kauravas never allowed that. Till the end, till battle had to be had, they still didn't want to share even this much. There's a very famous line of Duryodhana, but I cannot say it because I'll missay it. But and I think at some point, all of us as devotees, as aspiring yogis, we had to realize that yes, in the end, the Kauravas and the Pandavas cannot coexist. In the end, at some point, the Pandavas have to come victorious within ourselves. And that's when we will actually win the battle of life. So this is just a little bit about the beginning of the Mahabharata and the Bhagavad Gita, and a lot of the similarities or the symbolism that goes into it. And now I invite Naveen to get us into more of it.
अच्छा, आप इंग्लिश में कंफर्टेबल हो, हिंदी में, और शुड आई मिक्स करिए? ओके. सो हाउ डू यू थिंक वी एज ह्यूमन बींग्स आर कॉट इन द माया ऑफ दिस वर्ल्ड? मेडिकल साइंस भी अब ये बोलती है, द फर्स्ट व्हेन द स्पर्म एंड द ओवम यूनाइट, द फर्स्ट सेल जो ह्यूमन बॉडी का फॉर्म होता है वो यहाँ पर मेडुला ऑब्लोंगाटा, ये पीछे वाला पार्ट यहाँ पर फॉर्म होता है, और यहाँ से मल्टीप्लाई होना शुरू करता है. फीटस अगर आपने देखा होगा तो वो पहले उसका ब्रेन का थोड़ा सा पार्ट बनता है, एंड उसके बाद स्पाइन बननी शुरू होती है नीचे की तरफ. स्पाइन नीचे जाने लगती है और उसके हाथ और पैर बाहर आने लगते हैं. व्हेन द चाइल्ड इज़ बॉर्न, वो ग्रो कर रहा है फिजिकली टिल द एज ऑफ 18-20 जो भी है, एंड सब कुछ बाहर की तरफ को जा रहा है. आप समझ रहे हैं? यहाँ से शुरू हुआ ब्रेन, देन नीचे और आउट. और जब वो बच्चा पैदा होता है वो देखता है 5 सेंसेस, ये देखने में अच्छा, ये देखने में ख़राब, ये स्मेल करने में अच्छा, ये स्मेल करने में ख़राब, ऑल 5 सेंसेस में. और इस दुनिया में वो खुशी ढूंढने लगता है, और इस दुनिया में खुशी नहीं मिल सकती, परमानेंट खुशी नहीं मिल सकती, टेम्पररी खुशी तो पक्का मिलेगी. तो अगर आप इस माया से बाहर निकलना चाहते हैं तो क्या तरीका है? अगर हम ऐसे जीते रहेंगे, वी विल नेवर गेट आउट ऑफ माया. द ओनली वे व्हाट दीज ऋषिज फाउंड आउट वाज कि मैं किसी तरीके से ये जो प्राणा, ये जो फॉर्मेटिव एनर्जी है जो कि अब मेरी बॉडी बन गई है और वो मूलधार चक्र के नीचे जाके एक जड़ में बस जाती है, उसको हम कुंडलिनी कहते हैं. हमारे को किसी तरीके से इस कुंडलिनी को अनलॉक करना है, और इन्हीं चक्रास, जो कि 5 चक्रास आपको पता होंगे, मूलधार, स्वादिष्टान, मणिपुर, अनाहत, विशुद्ध, ये मेडुला ऑब्लोंगाटा का नेगेटिव पोल, पॉजिटिव पोल और सहस्रार। आपने अगर इस माया से बाहर निकलना है और परमानेंट हैप्पीनेस में जाना है तो आपको किसी तरीके से इसको रिवर्स करना है। जो प्राणा नीचे और बाहर जा रहा है उसको आपने अंदर और ऊपर लाना है। पूरा स्पिरिचुअल पाथ यही है सार। और इस सार को एक्सप्लेन कैसे किया? इस तरीके से हम सब के अंदर, जैसे भरत जी ने बताया, हम सब के अंदर महाभारत चल रही है। हम कैसे ये जर्नी शुरू करेंगे? उसका एग्जाम्पल, पांडवास की मदर का नाम क्या था? ओके। अब मैं आपको कुंती की एक स्टोरी बनाता हूँ, कुंती जी की, कि व्हेन द पांडवास वर सेंट इनटू एग्जाइल और उनका मदर बैठी कि मेरे बच्चे जा रहे हैं, मेरे बच्चे जा रहे हैं, कैसे रहेंगे, प्रिंसेस हैं, जंगल में रहेंगे। शी स्टार्ट्स लाइक अ नॉर्मल मदर डज, क्राइंग कि क्या हो गया मेरे बच्चों का, कैसे होगा। एंड शी क्राइज फॉर मैनी डेज, मंथ्स। और जैसे कि ऐसी सिचुएशन में होता है, आंसू सूख गए रो रो के। एंड जब वो सूख गए, वो थक गई, हर माइंड ऑल्सो वेंट क्वाइट। जब वो माइंड फर्स्ट क्वाइट हुआ, शी रियलाइज्ड देयर इज समथिंग विद इन मी। And when her attention went to that something within her, she felt something rising in her spine. वो rising में she felt such bliss, such ecstasy कि she forgot what is happening outside. And उनको समझ आ गया कि मैं जिस खुशी को ढूंढ रही हूँ वो तो बाहर है ही नहीं, वो तो यहाँ है। और वो जब ये करने लगी, शी स्टार्टेड फीलिंग गॉड्स प्रेजेंस विद इन हर एंड शी वेंट इन टू सच स्टेट्स ऑफ गॉड्स एक्सटेसी दैट शी डिड नॉट कम टू नो व्हेन टाइम हैज़ पास्ड। एंड टुवर्ड्स द आफ्टर महाभारत बैटल, आपको अगर याद होगा, तो कृष्णा केम टू हर एंड सेड कि माता, आप मांगो, क्या मांगते हो, मैं आपको वो दूंगा। एंड कैन यू इमेजिन व्हाट शी आस्क्ड? Yes, she asked, भगवान मुझे लाइफ में प्रॉब्लम्स दो, मेरे को लाइफ में ट्रबल दो, क्योंकि जब मैं ट्रबल्ड हूँ तब मैं आपको याद करती हूँ, और जब मैंने आपको याद किया तो आप मेरे अंदर महसूस हुए। दैट इज़ व्हाट वी आर सीकिंग। तो अब मिस्ट्री कैसे सॉल्व करें? कुंती जी ने तो साइलेंस अचीव कर ली, हम कैसे करें? इस पूरी एक्सप्लेनेशन को इन गुरुओं ने जो इंटरप्रेट किया भागवत गीता को और महाभारत की स्टोरी को, वो इतना ब्यूटीफुल है कि अगर आप इस इंटरप्रिटेशन को पढ़ लेंगे, आपको हर एस्पेक्ट ऑफ योर लाइफ जो स्पिरिचुअल प्रोग्रेशन में है, आपको उसकी नॉलेज हो जाएगी कि क्या करना है, कैसे करना है। क्या इक्वेट किया उन्होंने? द मूलधार चक्र, क्योंकि हमने अब नीचे से ऊपर आने, जो कुंडलिनी थी वो है द्रौपदी। 5 चक्रास जो नीचे के हैं वो हैं पांडव, नकुल, सहदेव, अर्जुन, भीम, युधिष्ठिर। आज्ञा चक्र के नेगेटिव पोल भीष्म पितामह, पॉजिटिव पोल कृष्णा, ये कैवल्य, इसको हम भूल जाएं अभी। अब हमारे पास हम सब की ज़िंदगी की महाभारत इसके बारे में है कि हम किस तरीके से द्रौपदी को वहाँ से अनलॉक करें और वो अपने हस्बैंड्स की हेल्प लेते हुए कहाँ जाए। जब द्रौपदी का चीरहरण हुआ था, इतने महारथी 5 हस्बैंड थे, उसने किसको बुलाया? वी नीड कृष्णा। लेकिन उसके लिए हमारे को हेल्प चाहिए ये 5 पांडवों की। जो 100 कौरव हैं वो हमारे को इस दुनिया में, माया में रखने के लिए सारे फोर्स हैं। अब आपको जो कहानी करनी है, किसी तरीके से आपको द्रौपदी को कृष्णा के पास लेके जाना है, और उस तरीके को करने का जो मकसद है वो है प्रत्याहार। आपने सुना है, पतंजलि का अष्टांग योग सुना होगा शायद। हमने किसी तरीके से जो हमारा प्राणा बाहर की तरफ को जा रहा है उसको अंदर खींचना है और ऊपर लेके जाना है। एंड हाउ विल दैट हैपन? दैट विल हैपन विद समथिंग दैट इज गोइंग टू पुल मी फ्रॉम आउटसाइड टू इन। और उससे बेटर टेक्निक देयर इज नथिंग लाइक क्रिया योगा। क्रिया योगा जो टेक्निक आनंद सांगा सिखाते हैं, जो इन गुरुओं ने हमारे को दी है, वो टेक्निक इज़ अ मास्टर टेक्निक कि जिस तरीके से हम बाहर जाते प्राणा को अंदर खींच सकें और ऊपर ले जा सकें। एंड द होल मिस्ट्री ऑफ स्पिरिचुअल पाथ इज दिस: द डे you will start feeling the withdrawal of this prana within your spine, your pull of the outer world will go. और इनमें आप देखिए कि ये जो 5 पांडव हैं, जो कृष्णा है, और इन मेडुला ऑब्लोंगाटा में जो मैंने आपको बताया भीष्म पितामह, ये भीष्म पितामह बीच में क्या कर रहे हैं? आपने सोचा जो मैं बता रहा था अभी कि पांडव समझ आ गए, कृष्णा समझ आ गए, भीष्म पितामह बीच में क्या कर रहे हैं? भीष्म पितामह रिप्रेजेंट्स आर ईगो, और ईगो है कि मैं ये हूँ, आई विल डू दिस, ये दुनिया बेस्ट है, मैं इस दुनिया में पावरफुल बनूंगा, मैं ये करूँगा, मैं वो करूँगा। और इस ईगो को ओवरकम करने का तरीका महाभारत में दिया गया। कैसे? भीष्म पितामह के पास क्या पावर, क्या वरदान था? गुड, इच्छा मृत्यु। नो वन कुड किल हिम, ही हिमसेल्फ कुड ओनली लेट गो ऑफ हिज लाइफ। एंड महाभारत में क्या हुआ? पहले 9 दिन कौरव आर्मी का जनरल कौन था? उसके बाद क्या हुआ? उनको अर्जुन ने, जब लड़ाई हुई तो उन्होंने उनको एरोज के बेड पे, वो सिर्फ बाकी के 8 दिन उस बेड पे बैठे पूरी वॉर को देखते रहे, पार्टिसिपेट नहीं किया। यहाँ आंसर, हाउ टू ओवरकम ईगो? मेक इट जस्ट एन ऑब्जर्वर। हम ईगो को नहीं मार सकते, हम ईगो को ऑब्जर्वर बना सकते हैं। हम हर चीज़ के लिए इन कैरेक्टर्स को हाउ डू वी यूटिलाइज? नकुल मूलधार चक्र में रिप्रेजेंट्स यमास, सहदेव नियमास, अर्जुन आसना, प्राणायाम, भीम विशुद्ध, विजुधिष्ठिर, एंड दिस इज गॉड। हमने हर पॉसिबल हेल्प लेनी है अगर हमारे को इस माया से बाहर निकलना है, बिकॉज माया इज़ वेरी पावरफुल। हम सब मानते हैं। हम यहाँ पर आए क्यों हैं आज? वी वॉन्ट टू गेट आउट ऑफ दिस, जो क्या बोला था कृष्णा ने भागवत गीता में, गेट आउट ऑफ दिस ओशन ऑफ माई ओशन ऑफ सफरिंग। और वो ही करने का तरीका है क्रिया योग। जो बाबा जी हैं, उन्होंने, ये बाबा जी जो हैं, इन्होंने जब लहरी माशा जी को 1861 में क्रिया योगा की दीक्षा दी थी, तो उन्होंने एक सेंटेंस जो कि भागवत गीता का पाठ है वो बोला था, और वो क्या था? इवन अ लिटिल प्रैक्टिस ऑफ दिस डिवाइन टेक्निक विल फ्री यू फ्रॉम कॉलोसल सफरिंग एंड फियर्स. So what I want to bring across, and this, the characters are there, it requires a big class to cover all characters, बट जो पांडवास आपको बता दिए, भीष्मा आपको बता दिया जो कौरव साइड में थे, जो हमारे को पुल कर रहे हैं अवे, वो इस बैटल में कैसे मारे गए, वही तरीका है उनको ओवरकम करने का। जैसे कि भीष्म का आपको पता लगा, कर्ण क्या थे, कर्ण वो दानवीर कर्ण, बहुत अच्छे, आप उनकी स्टोरी पढ़िए। तो बल्कि मेरे को तो जब मैंने महाभारत पहली बारी देखी थी तो मेरे को तो लगा यार ये तो बहुत ही अच्छा इंसान है, ये तो सब कुछ अच्छा कर रहा है, इवन गेव हिज कमंडलूज एंड हिज कवच, बट देन व्हाई इज ही ऑन दैट नेगेटिव साइड? कर्ण रिप्रेजेंट्स अटैचमेंट। हम इस दुनिया में अपने आप को कन्विंस करते हैं ये मेरा फादर है, ये मेरे मदर हैं, ये मेरी वाइफ, हस्बैंड, बच्चा, एंड मैं रिस्पॉन्सिबल हूँ उनके लिए। अटैचमेंट। एंड इनफैक्ट इट इज सेड कि हाँ हमारा कर्म है, बट वेयर डू वी गो रॉन्ग? एज अ पेरेंट और एज अ चाइल्ड यू कैन हेल्प द अदर पर्सन ओनली इफ़ यू आर स्टेबल। अगर मेरे बच्चे को कोई प्रॉब्लम है और मैं उस प्रॉब्लम में खुद भी डेस्परेट हो जाऊँ, ओह क्या हो गया, ये क्या हो रहा है, ये क्या हो रहा है, देन आई हैव फॉलन डाउन, गॉन डाउन टू दैट लेवल। आई नीड टू बी स्टेबल सो दैट आई कैन पुल अप दैट पर्सन। Everything in your life can be understood here. I will end and I will hand over to Shamini ji with one last matching जो आपको समझ आएगा कि हमारी ज़िंदगी में आज के दिन में ये क्यों इम्पोर्टेंट। हाँ जी बोलिए।
सवाल है, दुर्योधन किंग ऑफ मटेरियल डिजायर, यानी पैसा धन कमाने को लेकर, अब इसका क्या करें?
बताते हैं आपको।
बस ये थोड़ा सा, क्योंकि ना ज़्यादातर जो पूरा जिंदगी चल रही है ना इसी के इर्द गिर्द चल रही है।
ओके,
तो थोड़ा इस पर प्रकाश
पॉइंट अंडर जी। ठीक है जी, मैं वो कहानी छोड़ता हूँ, विल आंसर दिस एंड देन हैंड ओवर टू हर। और आपका बिल्कुल वैलिड पॉइंट है, अगर हम इस दुनिया में हैं तो आई नीड टू अर्न मनी फॉर माई फैमिली, आई नीड टू डू माई धर्मा। और इनफैक्ट इससे जो अगली क्लास है, आपको यही जो क्लास उधर चल रही है वो इसी चीज़ के बारे में है कि आप इस दुनिया में रह के कैसे योग हासिल कर सकते हैं। और इसका आंसर है अटैचमेंट। कारण आप एक पैसा कमा रहे हो, दुर्योधन जो है वो एक भी चीज़, उसने क्या बोला था, मैं एक तिनके का बराबर ज़मीन भी नहीं दूंगा, है ना? क्यों बोला था उसने? क्योंकि वो लेट गो ही नहीं कर रहा था। हमको अपना काम करना है बट विदाउट अटैचमेंट। आज के दिन मेरे साथ क्या होता है, ओ कल ये हो सकता है, अच्छा 1 करोड़ और रख लेता हूँ। ओ डाउन द लाइन, अच्छा ये नेबर के पेरेंट को तो ये अटैक हो गया, 1 करोड़ और लग गया उनका, चलो एक और रख लेता हूँ। कभी नहीं ख़त्म होने वाला। यस, यू नीड टू वर्क, वर्क को सेपरेट, ध्यान को सेपरेट, स्पिरिचुअल पाथ को सेपरेट, एंड इवेंचुअली जब आप ध्यान साधना में इस्टेब्लिश हो गए तो यू कैरी इट इनटू द वर्ल्ड ऑफ वर्क ऑल्सो। इनमें से ऐसे ऐसे जो इन योगानंदा जी जब यूएसए में गए थे तो उनके मोस्ट एडवांस्ड डिसाइपल थे राजश्री जानकनंदा, वॉज अ मिलियनियर इन 1920 की बात कर रहा हूँ, एंड ही गॉट निर्विकल्प समाधि। कैसे? He was so established in that center within himself, so established in that bliss that from there he was doing everything. आप जैसे अर्जुन ने किया, अपना कर्म करो, make the effort, साधना करो, everything in your life will change. I can vouch for it. So I have overshot. We will have time for question and answers, so we will answer ji, and it is very much possible, very much possible. All examples are there in front of you. Everything becomes so beautiful that this life which was troubling us, you will realize, wow, मैं जी गलत रहा था. Okay जी, thank you जी, Om Guru.
So I'll just add a little bit on how do we make this little bit more practical to our daily life, no? I like Naveen is asking, even Bharat, and You all know the story. Everybody here knows the story, knows the characters, no? When I came to this path, though, I didn't know even that. This everything I learned from Yogananda ji's teachings. So first I want to recommend this book. This is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. This is Yogananda ji's teachings on the Gita, on Mahabharata and all of the characters. So Gita, we know, is the wisdom part of Mahabharata, no? The part which Krishna tells Arjuna on the battlefield. And that's the part which gives us daily wisdom. We study it, we learn it. In the beginning of this book, there are couple of chapters dedicated to all of this. This though is just the, start, just a summary for you all. It's not even covering because there's no place, no? But in this, when I first read this, I was like, oh my God. And somebody was giving a class. I was in Gurgaon in our Ananda center. I went home. I started telling my parents the whole Mahabharata. Like, yes, there you go. You have it. I was like, why you guys didn't teach me these things? They were like, we also didn't know this kind of interpretation. So not just ki, these characters are there, that we know. But how does this apply to us? And that's something Yogananda ji has given, which is beautiful. So if you heard Shankaraji's talk, all these questions, even materialism ka somebody asked the same question. These are daily battles which all of us are facing. We all have to earn, we all have families, we all have relationships, whatever. Everything though is happening. We all have Pandavas inside, we all have Kauravas inside. Nobody here is without. We all have Bhishma, no? We all have problems, we all have challenges, and it's a battlefield of life. So many times people come, how many people here have been to Kurukshetra? You can show. Okay, not everybody, even we haven't been yet. We are waiting to go, it's so close to Chandigarh. People come for pilgrimage still to Kurukshetra. Wahan pe there are beautiful temples and all, which I heard are very beautiful energy. So that place is there. The battle happened, but it's where is the battle happening? Why this book? How many years ago, no? The story of Mahabharata, how many years ago it started, it happened. But till today, everybody knows Mahabharata. Everybody knows the story. And every time if we hear it again, something happens inside, no? We feel like, wow, because it's happening every day inside of us. So where is this Kurukshetra, first of all? Our minds, only minds, or where? Throughout the body, within us, around us, more. Abhi Naveen was also telling, no? The 5 Pandavas, what are they? Chakras. So think this, the spine, that's it, 3.5 feet. This is the Kurukshetra every day. It's the movement of energy in the spine, up and down. So that's why when we meditate, we are gazing up here. After this, if you haven't touched, introduction to meditation session will be there. We'll tell you, gaze here. What is this? What did Naveen just tell us? So when we are connecting here, we are connecting to the divine. We are calling. When we are chanting, we all enjoyed the chants. We said, focus here now. Yogananda would make people chant very, very loudly in America for 1 hour. And then he would stop and he would say, now focus here. And boom, the energy would go. Where did it go? Up the spine. That's the Kurukshetra, no? And so every day, we are doing this actually. All of you, it's very interesting. I was thinking, Gita talks of also Nishkam Karma, no? So of course, we do this kind of fair maybe once a year so far in Chandigarh. And yesterday we found out about match, no? And we were like, oh no, what will happen? Everybody wants to go. Nishkam Karma, where's your Nishkam Karma? So it's again a test. So in daily life, we get to practice that, array, I'm so attached to my fruits of my action, or I did my best, now you take charge. No? Whoever you want to come, you bring them, it's up to you. So that was a nice test for all of us with those calves. No? We were all having a little bit of this practice, this test going on. But we make it very practical in daily life. So it's happening inside me. So let's say, something happens, some challenge comes. My Kauravas have come to the front, let's say, king material desire, I've become a little bit greedy, or something has taken charge. What can I do? I can go inside and I can try to find out how to raise that energy up. So the greed, what does greed do? No, when you get attached to something, it holds your energy. It makes you very tight, makes you very small. No, we're only thinking about myself. Maybe I can go and just give a little seva. No, maybe I can go and help. Today, actually, the autobiography of Yogi that all of you have received was donated by somebody. That's why we were able to give it. So those kind of sevas, it starts expanding. Na? Oh, I love this book. I want everyone to have a touch of this. So our thing starts expanding a little bit. And that principle we start to understand in Punjab, of course, seva is a very big concept. And of course in India also, we love Punjab for that. The spirit of seva is very strong. Even in our center, we've seen the Sangha very ready to just, anything is needed, what can we do? And prasad and a lot of, and energy starts flowing. It becomes much bigger than my small world. Only me and my child, me and my little world, rather than no. There are so many people outside. What can I do to help? So we start to see by doing that, energy in the spine starts to rise a little bit more. Our heart, this is Bhima, starts to open. Let's say when we do some pranayam in the beginning, we were all there. You're opening up the heart. So the heart relaxes. When we do chanting, we're opening up the heart. Yogananda said this is half the battle. Chanting, he said, is half the battle. Why? Why half? Think what we are saying. Kurukshetra battle is in the spine. So you get your energy to the heart, then you focus here, you call to Krishna. That's it. Your energies change. I think all of us are feeling good today. I don't think anyone is like, oh, no. But because our energy is up, in the Kurukshetra. So this is the daily Mahabharata, the daily practice. It's so practical, isn't it? It's so beautiful examples. I wanted to give you just 2 quick little examples from Yogananda ji from these, because we don't have time to go through all. Naveen was about to start. I was about to say, please tell the story. But imagine, even like, okay, let's talk the story of Arjuna, what Bharat was talking in the beginning, So Arjuna is our 3rd chakra. You know about chakras, we'll have a session later, but it's basically a fiery self-control. So a lot of our fire comes from there. He was the warrior, He was the one who was like the main guy. And so Arjuna, what does he do? He goes to Krishna on the battlefield, as we've been talking. And what he tells him? I can't fight. I can't kill my own cousins. The Kauravas are his cousins. I can't kill my own family. I can't do this. Does that happen to us sometimes? Have you ever felt, I can't do this? You're called to do something. It's difficult. It's challenging. I can't do this. Has it happened? I'm seeing at least some heads nodding. Some are like, it happens though. All the time. It happens to me also. And what happens? Yogananda ji explained. What happens to us when we feel like that? We sit down like this on the chair. Or on the bed, like, I can't do this. He explained that also. He said, Arjuna bends the spine. You know what is that? Arjuna, that represents, he drops his bow, he said. No, I can't do this, Krishna. He said, this bow represents our spine. I can't do this. You drop your spine, you drop the bow. And then you have to pick yourself back up again. That's why we said in the beginning, change your posture, sit up straight, do a little this. Even all of you, Sunday, you could have been relaxing at home, but you put energy and you came here. That's choosing the light, choosing a higher energy. And we just feel better. That's just how it works, When we sit around and be tamasik, watch Netflix whole day, and all the Kauravas happily come in and, okay. And then we just don't feel good, even though we should, But we feel good when we put out energy. We feel good when we meditate. We feel good when we are kind. We feel good when we are thinking of others. And that's when the Pandavas come inside us and take charge. And so this is a practice we can just do quickly. That Swami Kriyananda has given us this thing of a mental bonfire. So I'll invite you can do it with me right now. Let's sit up straight a little bit. You can put your things on the chair next to you. Just a very quick, a 2 minutes exercise we'll do. Okay, and you can close your eyes and focus at this point. And when you're focusing here, like Naveen told in the morning, you're not looking here, you're looking at a distance at this point. So you're projecting your energy there. And this is the suggestion given by Yogananda ji, Swami ji, that at the end of every day, mentally, just here at the point between the eyebrows, just ask yourself, which side won today? Did my Kauravas win or did my Pandavas win? And just reflect on your day, introspect like this, just as your eyes are closed. This is a practice you can do from tonight as well. So do it even now. So far, half of the day is gone. Which side won? And maybe, you're feeling very good. Imagine at the end of today, I'm assuming you'll feel good. You can kind of introspect. I think I got up. I chose to go to a spiritual environment, spiritual seekers. My energy was up. I think the Pandavas won today. I'm feeling good. Or, I was angry, I got upset, I lost my temper, blah, blah, blah. No, my Kauravas took charge of it. And that's how you introspect every day. And now let's do, as your eyes are still closed, just make a mental bonfire here. And this is a very important part of this introspection. So Swami Kriyananda says, at the end of the day, when you've done this introspection, whether it was good, whether it was bad, you just offer that anything, good, bad, into that mental bonfire. It's yours, Krishna, it's yours, Guru. I offer it back to you, God, in whichever form. You take it, purify it. Even my good things are only good if you make it good. My bad things, only you have the power to lift it up. And so offer that into the mental bonfire here at the point between the eyebrows. And then feel freedom in your heart. Feel that, I have offered it and now I'm free. And then just sit for a minute, like a moment in that silence, enjoying that freedom of that exercise. And then you can open your eyes. So this was a little taste, no? So this is a practical way we can do with Mahabharata in daily life. Every day, make a little bonfire here. Just offer. Good, bad, we all make mistakes, we all do good things. It's yours, no? Nishkam Karma. And then you start feeling freer and freer inside your heart. So these are little bit what we could capture in this very little time. But please do get this book. You will enjoy it, you will love it. Yogananda actually said that when he received this book from Divine Mother, when he wrote it down, he said, millions will find God through this book. I know, I have seen it. Not even through anything else, through this book. So it's really a treasure to have. So thank you all.